People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in and them things. Now, it's been another eventful Premier League week. Sadly, we now go into the October international break, so we're going to have to find something to do with our lives until the Premier League and just football club-wise returns as a whole. But we might as well review, or I might as well give my stars and duds of the week for this week. Well, yeah, at this point, I'd like to think you guys know what it is. My best and worst performers 11. So, yeah, let's start off with the stars. Who have I got written down? Keeper, I must admit, I wanted to put Leno. Leno probably deserves to be here from an Arsenal standpoint, but spoiler, I've got quite a few Arsenal players in this. Felt Patricio of Wolves could have been in here. Kepa didn't have much to do, but I felt Kepa could have been in here. There's a couple keepers that were good this week, to be fair with you, but I'm gonna go with Edison purely because I simply liked his ball play, and the Liverpool crowd tried to rattle him, and they did kind of rattle the back five of City to a degree in that they made it difficult for them. But I don't think Edison let that affect him. So Edison's going to go and goal for me. Centre halves, who have I got? Rob Holding, I'm putting Rob Holding for sure. Ake is going to partner him. He had a good game for Bournemouth, if I remember rightly, and Holding, I felt, put in a convincing performance against Fulham. Doherty of Wolves is going to go at right back. He's not a left back, but Laporte is going to shift over to left back. I was going to put Robertson of Liverpool here, but I just felt Laporte put in a good performance today, to be honest with you. Yeah, so in short, that's why Laporte is there. So the back five: Edison, Doherty, Laporte, Ake, and Holding. In midfield, I'm going to go with Bernardo Silva in the 10 position. I felt, again, he's picking up where he left off, and obviously he had to acclimatise, or whatever the word is, to life at Manchester City or in England or in the Premier League. And he's firing, man. His potential is scary. I do think he can be the best creative player in the Premier League one day in terms of all that poetry, emotion nonsense that we will talk about in terms of creativity. But he's going to be 10. I felt Mata made an impact, well, he obviously did when he came off the bench for Manchester United against Newcastle, and it was a lovely free kick. So Mata's going to be in here, and I'm going to put Lucas Torreira again. Another week, another Torreira consistent performance, consistently putting in good performances. And he's very young. He will have bad games, but it's scary to think about what he could potentially be in the next 3-4 years or so. So Torreira's going to partner Mata in the pivot sort of thing with Bernardo Silva, making a trio in midfield. Up front, I mean, Lacazette got a brace. Lacazette's got to be there. Aubameyang came off the bench and got two goals, and 1 assist, so he's got to be there. I felt Hazard again was good today. Against Southampton, he obviously bagged. And didn't he slot in Morata as well, if I remember correctly? Forgive me if I'm wrong. So it's another good performance. So that would be my stars. In regards to people that deserve a mention, I felt Pogba was alright for United. Xhaka had a good performance. Bernard of Everton's unlucky to be here. So is Theo. Josh King of Bournemouth. Richarlison. Brooks of Bournemouth. Shelvey and a couple of the Newcastle players, in fact. Pickford, Zuma. Barkley was good today for Chelsea, really was. Ramsey on the basis that he came off the bench and you looked promising. So there were a couple performances, people. Now into better news, or my better news. It's not really better news, but the duds. Foster's got to go and goal. I mean, Watford conceded 4 goals. To be fair, so could Bettinelli. To be fair, Fulham could have get this position as well. Do you know what? We'll go with Bettinelli. To be fair, man, we'll allow him. We'll go with Bettinelli. Foster, he was about to get it, but we'll go with Bettinelli and goal. Fulham. We'll go with Kabasele. Forgive me if I've said his name correctly. Of Watford, got sent off, so he's got to be in here. Wes Morgan, best Premier League centre half still, Jamaican in that. He had a poor performance, and I must admit, looking at the highlights and the extended highlights and match of the day, it was paining me. I really want to put you in here, Wes Morgan. You know I'll fight tooth and nail for you, but Banter aside, Wes Morgan, he got stressed out and he got sent off as well, if I remember correctly. Forgive me if I'm wrong. So them two. I don't think Mendy had a poor game, but I don't necessarily think he had a good game today for Manchester City. Definitely not by his own standards. I don't feel he got forward and offered an outlet with Sterling, but I don't feel he did enough in that regard. I just felt he didn't have the best of games, to be fair, and I like Mendy a lot. By the same token, I don't necessarily think Liverpool's attacking options had the best of games, so you could say Mendy must have done his job right in some regard. But I'm going to put Mendy. On the right-hand side, he's not a right back, but Eric Bailly, he got hooked off. He got spanned for a goal. And I really like Bailly, man. I think on form he's one of the best centre-halves in the Premier League. And if he could be taught and got someone could get some rough edges out of his game, that could be a real good centre half. He's at what, 22, 23. But as for him and Jose, I don't know if there's a way back at United for them. This has been said about many a player, especially under Jose, so I don't know. But yeah, so that would be my back five. In midfield, you could have went with Scott McTominay because he was quite poor and he sank out there essentially. But I want to allow him. I think Matic, for someone who has the experience Matic has and all of these things, I don't feel he had a good game for Man United. I don't necessarily think Henderson was poor for Liverpool because it was a woeful game, but a good game by the same token. But I'm struggling to see what he brings to the midfield. Yeah, I know he brings the commitment and he's a good team player and things like that, but I'm struggling to see what visible quality he brings into the midfield, and I felt he let down Liverpool a couple of times, especially on the break with the lack of passing. His crossing was a bit weird. Yeah, I'm struggling to see what he brings to the table at Liverpool in that regard. So that Mahrez is going to occupy the 10 role. We all saw the penalty. I mean, come on, Mahrez. I know they were talking about your stat. You've missed quite a few penalties recently, but you're better than that. And if you're going to take it off Gabriel Jesus, you have to score. You have to at least hit the target. You have to make the keeper work. Van Dijk got let out of jail there, to be honest, because he had a decent game and he shouldn't have slid in, and that could have cost his team. So yeah, man. In the grand scheme of things, it might not mean anything. But if you get to a point where City don't win the trophy, that could be a point that we look at. Not to pinpoint him because he missed a penalty, but clearly people didn't take chances. People weren't effective. We can't just say it was all Mahrez, but he's going to occupy the midfield along with Matic and Henderson. Up front, I wanted to go with Mane as well. I don't think Mane was his usual self, but I'm going to go with Marcus Rashford and I'm going to go with Vardy and Mohamed Salah, purely because he's not playing with the same composure in the final third. He could have had a couple today, but it just didn't happen for him. And obviously, to get a shout out, Young could have been in there, Smalling, Sacco, Firmino in my opinion, Rudiger because I felt he had an off game, Kafka, Sterling sadly, the whole of Southampton, Watford and a couple Fulham players, to be fair with you, could have actually been in here. So yeah, there was a few more. Maddison could have been in here of Leicester. You guys know I like him, but yeah. So yeah, there was several players, quite a few Southampton players. Ings especially, Mr. Tapping, Mr. Sitter today. So yeah, there was a few players that could have been in here. But to recap as well, because I don't think I recapped it finally. In regards to the duds, obviously we said we're going to go with Bettinelli of Fulham. We're going to obviously go with Bailey of Man United at right back, Kabasele and Wes Morgan at centre half, Mendy at left back, Henderson, Matic and Mahrez make up the midfield, Salah, Vardy and Marcus Rashford as the striking trio. So yeah, that's my stars and duds of the week of this Premier League week. Sadly, like I said at the beginning, international break and them things, but it is what it is. People, I've enjoyed this. Hope you have too. Like, subscribe and do the rest. Deluded, I'm out.